My name is Josh Hammond. I'm a student at Quinnipiac University's ICM 513 Advanced User-Centered Design class. I live in Chicago, and I'm a word-of-mouth and social media marketing guy by day, and a dad, husband, and grad school student by night. So what kind of user-centered designer am I? Well, I spend most of my waking hours developing content for clients, and I know firsthand the value and importance of great content. It's essential to try and not waste resources by providing easy access to good usability to the wrong content. Content is the most critical element of a website. That said, when it comes to usability, I also understand and appreciate the seamless integration of social channels when designing digital properties. Content may be king, but as John Mansell, CEO of Bazooka, said, conversation is queen. To put it simply, I value and design for simplicity. You'll quickly see in all my design work that I like a clean aesthetic. I just think it's simple and clean and attractive and functional. When working on projects, most of my effort is typically focused on making things easy to understand and uncluttered. I also really appreciate white space, and I've actually done a couple projects in different classes where I've taken a deeper dive on white space and why it's so important from a usability and an aesthetic standpoint. But I really appreciate white space, and I think it adds a lot to both usability and design. So as for what design principles I think are important, reducing a user's workload. This may seem pretty intuitive, but I think it's one of the biggest takeaways I took from the previous UX class. The less your user has to think, the easier the job will be, and the more they can focus on what they actually came to do. It's also sort of obvious to say it, but humans are fallible, and I think it's important for websites to sort of consider this and be redundant and make mistake recovery really easy. So when you're designing a site and thinking about the usability, it's important to remember that humans make mistakes. As a marketer, I also understand the importance of understanding your user or your target audience through a variety of lenses: demographic, psychographic, attitudinal. They're all really important, and personas are an easy and efficient way to sort of encapsulate the target audience or the target user. When it comes to site design, few things frustrate me more than sloppy information architecture. I think it's an incredibly important component of UX to present information in a structure that reflects the user's needs and the goals of the website. Good website and page design enables users to understand the site's information efficiently, and there's no need to hunt. Search is also critically important, and as we were studying heuristics, we learned that it's important to think about search and when you're designing all elements of a web page, whether they be usability or aesthetic. So I think in this day and age, you have to think about search. So some of the things I've done, like most people in this class, I completed ICM 512, and as part of that, I did some usability testing and wireframing, and we made some recommendations as to how to improve Quinnipiac's website. So example of my work here. We also studied heuristics and performed heuristic evaluations of sites. So another sample of my work here. But I thought that was one of the more interesting and relevant parts of what we studied in that earlier class. Learning best practices is always important, and that's where it really kind of came home. As for occupationally, this is a site I did for Philips Norelco. It was just sort of a one-off where we got dad bloggers to shave their Movember mustaches off using a Philips Norelco product and talk about their story, but there were elements of UX that went into the design of this site. This is a new product we developed, and while this isn't an online property, it's a PowerPoint slide. I think it sort of represents my ability to take pretty complex information and put it into an easy to understand architecture. So this is a kind of a complex offering that we tried to make simpler just by the way we designed the slide. And this is the Zocalo website. So we, my employer, Zocalo Group, we sort of practice what we preach in that we use word-of-mouth marketing to spread word about our agency, and we fill our site with good content. So we're constantly fine-tuning how that content is displayed and how people visit the site. As for what roles best match my experience and interests, project manager, that's kind of what I do all day long, every day, so that's probably my most comfortable area. You know, identifying steps, dates, gates, and making sure deliverables are ready on time. I'm also pretty comfortable, just by virtue of what I do, with marketing and communications, knowing how important, when managing a client, communications and marketing are. I think that I could play that role as well. I also work pretty closely with our Insights and Analytics group, and I formerly worked at Nielsen, so I have researcher blood in me. But you know, I know the value of good primary and secondary research and how critical that can be to the success of a program. And then lastly, I really enjoy design. I would say of the previous three, this is the one I'm the least comfortable with, but I'm hoping to grow in it. And so far I feel like the ICM program has really let me kind of grow in this area. But I would be interested in doing more as far as a design functionality. So, in summary, I'm an experienced client-focused professional with a strong background in project management, research, and Marcom, with an interest in learning more about UX design. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and thanks a bunch.